Alright, it is time for FFYLands Gaige. So this is the last character we need to get through FFYLands, which if you don't know, FFYLands is a really fun difficulty mod that overhauls a lot of the experience. It overhauls weapons, the character skill trees, how the enemies interact with the player, and just overall pretty much everything about the game. It is super duper fun, and this is our sixth character through it. I've done a couple other casual things here and there, but we are playing through as Gaige. I have not really looked at her skill tree at all, but I'm going to go ahead and skim through it, and then we'll go ahead and talk them through a little bit and then see how we feel about the character. Now, first and foremost, we of course have our action skill, which allows us to summon Death Trap, and it doesn't really say anything special about that except for the fact that we can summon Death Trap while we are down, which is cool. And then passively as Gaige, we receive 60% resistance against shock damage, dot duration, and damage over time damage. So that's pretty cool. We gain 25% stronger bonuses from shields, inflict 50% longer shock dots to enemies, and gain 100% extra basic shield capacity, and use elemental weapons 15% better. Okay, so this is going to be our tanky shield character that further buffs the utilities and uses of shields. I am totally down with that. That sounds really, really great. We haven't even looked at the skill trees yet, and inherently we just have 100% beefier shield. That is 25% better at whatever it's good at. That's gross. I like that a lot, and we get the passive elemental weapon buff too, so cool. Alright, left tree, potent as a pony, gives us extra max health, total ammo stockpile, and buffs Death Trap's health. Better half, when our magazine is half depleted, it gets increased fire rate and weapon damage. 20% cooler increases cooldown of action skill. Death Trap will also deal more normal damage. Normal damage means any damage Death Trap deals. Okay. Cooking Up Trouble, you and Death Trap passively regen health, adds amount of health regen into active shield regen. Okay, so that will make our shields regen faster whenever they're intentionally recharging. Cool. Buck Up, Death Trap can restore shields and health of one ally to full. Death Trap will also receive less bullet and rocket damage. Okay. That sounds pretty nice. Death Trap cannot restore roid shields and breaks them instead. That's pretty cool. We like that. Sure. Close Enough provides its normal bullet ricochet chance and reduced damage from ricocheted bullets, which is fair and makes sense. We have Fancy Mathematics, which functions the same there. Sharing is Caring grants a copy of your shield to Death Trap and increases your shield capacity and recharge rate, and also provides passive health regen. Unstoppable Force on kill provides movement speed, shield regen, and guarding shield resistance. Okay, so is that extra tankiness, I would assume? Something like this? Sure. We have Rampage. When you are down, you'll start to deal more melee damage and move faster. Death Trap will also start to deal more melee and normal damage. Okay, so ton of movement speed, ton of Death Trap, and your own melee damage and stuff. Very interesting, kind of weird, but maybe a melee build exists. Experimentalist, your shield capacity is increased at the cost of decreasing health. Your weapons are passively improved. Death Trap receives new ability Explosive Clap. Death Trap occasionally creates a blast that deals huge normal damage to enemies based on melee damage of Death Trap. Okay. So, more damage, more reload speed, shield capacity, and reduces max health, sure. Kill Streak. While Death Trap is active, each kill will increase Death Trap's duration. Death Trap will restore some health, and he will receive increased roid damage. Bonuses are lost when Death Trap goes away. So, 8 seconds per kill, 4% of Death Trap's health back per kill, 6% more roid damage, and 16% more shock beam damage. Okay, so he's just going to remove surveyors. That's pretty cool. Starting in middle tree, we get more pep, which provides more pep stuff. We get Shockstorm, which passively increases electrocute duration on enemies. Dealing any damage to an enemy will electrocute them. Any damage? Okay. If a Death Trap kills an enemy, Okay, if Death Trap kills an enemy, then the enemy will spawn micro shock spheres upon his corpse, and you can shoot those to electrocute nearby enemies. That's kind of neat. Okay, sure. Okay, so this skill effectively means that Gaige has the passive capacity to apply shock to all enemies shot at all times, which is kind of useful because there are some enemies that have health regen, but you can apply shock to them pretty much permanently, which allows you to just negate all healing in the game at all, and you don't have to focus shock damage specifically doing that, but also we get so much more damage and stuff to shock that like it kind of might be worth it anyway, so that's kind of cool. Alright, Myelin, your shock spike and Nova shields deal more damage, and your shield capacity is also increased. Okay, so more shock damage for those two. Could use a black hole. I don't know if there are any pearls or seraphs or anything that really benefit from this, but potentially we could get something there, which is cool. Okay. Evil Enchantress is a kill skill that provides elemental affected damage. Sure. Shock Strike. When you fall into 5 for your life, and if enemies are too close to you, they will become electrocuted and receive massive shock damage. Passively increases reload speed, and further buffs it for shock weapons. If that's a single point, I'm going to spec that just to see if it works well, because that is interesting. Okay. Guarding Shield. Okay, so this is what this was referring to. It provides a further buff to this skill, I guess. While your shields are up, you take less damage from all sources. Unstoppable Force skill boost resistances further, so you receive 1.2 times less damage. Damage resistance against explosives is doubled, so that's really nice for Torgue weapons since those deal a lot of damage normally. That's super cool, I like that. Wires Don't Talk does Wires Don't Talk stuff, but slightly more. Okay. Shock Charge, improve your shock grenades, Nova and Spike shields by increasing their damage. Okay. You gain increased kill skill duration, and Death Trap can shoot out his shock orb, and then if you shoot it, it hurts enemies. Kind of checks out, kind of makes sense. So shock grenade dots, do they deal 3 times more damage? And then the initial impact is 75% more? I think that's how that reads. Shock Spike and Nova damage plus 100%, and then 35% kill skill duration. Okay. Electrical Burn, when you electrocute an enemy, chance that they will light on fire. When it happens, you gain increased reload speed. Sure, cool, like that. That means that this skill can trigger this skill, probably. So we can just get a bunch of reload speed passively by playing the game. Interspersed Outburst, I'm worried that this might crash my game if it still functions kind of how it does in vanilla, but we'll see. Not shooting an enemy for a short time grants Interspersed Outburst. Next time you shoot an enemy, all stacks are consumed and you deal bonus slag damage. Amount of stacks affects the chance to slag the target, and passively increases status chance, damage, and duration. The Stare. This changes how Anarchy works. You receive less damage per stack, but you also lose less accuracy per stack. Anarchy boosts your status damage. Death Trap learns the new ability, fires an incendiary laser beam and sweeps it across the battlefield. Okay, so this makes you even less accurate and gives you damage reduction with your Anarchy stacks, as I'm assuming how that's supposed to work. It also provides more status effect damage per stack, and then also gives Death Trap his fire laser. Make It Sparkle affects weapon, Death Trap, and melee. Shooting Death Trap with slag will enhance him with the element, and he will deal additional slag damage on melee attacks. Shooting an enemy will micro stun him and deal additional damage based on weapon damage. So built-in stagger per shot of every gun. Melee attacks also apply micro stun to enemies, and they have a faster cooldown. So they make you you can attack faster? No, there's a stun. Okay, there's a cooldown for the stuns. Got it. Passively boost your status chance and damage. Alright, that's interesting. Very cool. We'll have to see if we like this. I probably will pick it up because why not? And finally, Anarchy Tree. We start with smaller, lighter, faster. It does what it does. Annoyed Android increases Death Trap's damage. Nth Degree does Nth Degree stuff. Pre-Shrunk Cyberpunk does Pre-Shrunk Cyberpunk stuff. Anarchy is down here. Damaging an enemy, automatically reloading your gun, damaging enemies from behind with melee, killing an enemy or being damaged by an enemy while in combat grants you a stack of Anarchy. Each stack of Anarchy increases gun damage while decreasing accuracy and explosive damage. Prematurely reloading your gun causes you to lose all your stacks. Damage boost is affected by your level. Okay, so gun damage, reduced explosive weapon damage as a flat minus. I'm hoping not like a minus 15 per stack, because it is per stack. Okay, so don't use explosive, got it. Minus accuracy, max stacks of 150. Okay, so Anarchy is easier to get, and you get a ton of it just via combat. Makes sense, checks out. Typecast Iconoclast, whenever you gain a stack of Anarchy, there's a chance that you gain an additional stack. Additionally, your fight for your life time is increased. Cool. Blood-Soaked Shields, Anarchy stacks now add passive total damage resistance to all damage types, and also increases Nova and Spike damage based on your current Anarchy count. Additionally, you restore some shields but lose some health health on kills, and it requires Anarchy to function. There's no flat numbers here, but sure, cool. With Claws, melee override, it does the thing. You press your melee button, it does claws, damage based on the number of Anarchy stacks you have. The attacks consume 0 Anarchy stacks though, that's pretty nice. You also gain additional weapon swap speed per stack, that's pretty cool. Emergency protocols, when you lose your shields, you will restore a percentage of them back, and has no effect on Roid. So anytime someone breaks my shield, it instantly gets 25% or 5% back initially, but up to 25%. Which I know that a lot of enemies will hurt through my shield to dip into my health bar and then the shield will come back, but that's still nice. Flurry of Claws, you and Death Trap deal more melee damage, allows Death Trap to release a flurry of melee attacks and decrease received melee damage. Okay, interesting. Rational Anarchist makes your weapon damage per stack stronger. If you don't have any stacks of Anarchy, then you will gain 35 stacks instead of 1. Next level, basic weapon damage per stack is doubled. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Sure. Discord, you no longer lose Anarchy stacks on manual reload. Instead, manual reload activates Discord. Each second of using Discord rapidly depletes Anarchy stacks. While it is active though, increases weapon fire rate and accuracy, increases max health based on Roid damage, bonus reload speed per Anarchy stack, improves Anarchy's damage by 90%, full immunity to shock damage, health regen of 10% a second, shield regen of 5% a second, and movement speed of 15%. That's pretty nice. Okay, so right tree, maybe middle tree, but probably more likely left tree is what I'm looking at initially. And I don't know what skill tree I want to start out in. This would be really good for our survivability though, of course, so going down middle tree early wouldn't be a bad idea. But like, man, over here is stupid. So we'll see what we get up to. A little bit of tankiness before we get into our damage might not be a bad idea though. So let's walk forward finally, after talking about the character for 1,000 years, and to get that going. Yeah, we can actually play Infinity Gaige in this run as well, since the Endless does have a high mag size. So it's a stupid meme, and I don't necessarily think it would be better on this character, outside of the lack of the ability to manually reload, which sucks, because I kind of would want to trigger Discord, because that damage is stupid. But yeah. Oh yeah, also we don't have health gate because this is Fight for Your Life lands, so we need to be a little bit careful of enemies like that guy, who is also worth a ton of XP. Do it. Don't worry, he'll get confused and go back. Why is he like... There we go. Level 7 already. We have another rabbit over there. So we just have to wait for this skag to come over because they are very respectful. They wait in line for some reason. The goodest boys, really. Okay. So, level 9. Boom. And then we have to spec this to get down the tree. I think I'll probably go Shock Storm. At least I'll put a point in it just to tickle enemies every once in a while with the shock, and then we'll go 4 points into Myelin. But I really just want Shock Strike and Guarding Shield out of this tree for now. But we'll see how we go. Alright, level 11. And 1 point there. Now I get to see how this skill works. Alright, so how do you work? Does it just guarantee a shock dot? I think it does. It's a really low shock dot, but I mean, I can only really deal 1s or 2s or 3s to these enemies anyway. But that's interesting. It didn't reapply it. Maybe it can only apply... okay, it's probably a % chance. But that's pretty cool. Let's watch Death Trap be underleveled and probably not be able to do anything. A little more than I expected, honestly, but okay. Cool. Yeah, so level 13, 1 point there. Whenever we put on a shield, that thing is going to look enormous on this character. I really do appreciate that so early in the game. Honestly, we might just farm out this vendor for some purples real quick. Although, we could go to Snowman DLC and farm out those vendors because they are level 13 to 15. So we could potentially get some doodads to shoot with already. Alright, so this is a 208 capacity shield. If I put it on... First off, we'll get the initializing shield display thing. Well, it's not the 100% shield capacity I was expecting. This could be something to do with the fact that shields can't really get boosted past a certain amount of benefit per level or something weird like that. I think that exists in this game. But that's still pretty nice. It means that we should probably lean more towards utility shields with lower overall capacities, because they'll receive more out of the buff than tankier shields would. I could be wrong, but I think that's a thing in this game. Alright, just to test it, we're going to go ahead and pick up a spike shield for the character here. And yeah, as we can already see, 132 capacity turns to 280 on this shield, but this 208 capacity shield does not get the double and then some that it gets. And I think that is something to do with that weird effect that's in the game. I don't know exactly how it works or what it is. I just know it's there. Alright, we're a little underleveled for the DLC, but that's a good little chunk there. Hold on now. And our shield is actually kind of holding up to the abuse because it does get that extra buff to tankiness and stuff. Oh no. I mean, this is great, but we don't even have Guarding Shield yet, or Unstoppable Force. Oh boy. Hold on. Do Spike Shields reduce incoming melee? No. So this is just how it is. Okay, now our shield is broken. But still, up until that point, that was going pretty well. I'm just putting it out there. Ooh. Oh no, wait, is that supposed to be a thing? Wait a minute. Okay, it went away. I wonder if it has an invisible health bar? If it does, that means I should use a high fire rate weapon that has low damage. And then just mag dump with it. Interesting. Yeah. Don't forget the fact that we have a skill that can also bring back up to 25% of our shield whenever it breaks. Yeah. I know the character is already going to get nerfed. I really want to use an impaler on the character or some other doodads like this. But, man. This makes me happy already. I'm just gonna run up to every single mob. We could potentially play a Thorns build. Just complete pacifist run. Just let them beat on us. Oh wait, how fast is your dive in this? Oh, it doesn't provide a lot of knockback. Okay, well, we can still cheese Snowman even if it is Fight for Your Life lands. We'll just send out Robot so that he stays nearby. Never mind, Robot is doing laser. We're good though. And to go buy the last set of grenades we need. And there we go. And a nice little level up. Okay, so we'll probably stay here for a little bit and get some doodads for the base game. And then probably just move on from there. What do you buff? Shock damage and electrical burn? Okay. Probably not too interested in the Zapper comms. Don't know what comms will really be more interesting on this character. I guess we'll just have to find out as we go. Alright, so nice little cooldown relic early. Could be good for a little bit of distraction from Death Trap. I'm gonna try to keep with the Shock Shield theme for now, just to, I don't know, play into it a little bit. And then I guess we could get a shield relic as well, and that'd feel pretty good on the character. Let's go ahead and grab our two punks that are here, see what they buff. This one does the better half, and this one does smaller, lighter, faster. That's kind of neat. Okay. Don't know if these are the move either yet. If the bee wasn't nerfed, this game would have died in 2013. Honestly, probably. Alright, level 16. Go ahead and get Shock Strife. This won't be too useful here, but we'll try to use it in the base game. See how much damage we deal with that. Honestly got no clue as of right now how it will feel. Alright. Our Robo-Tier gives a buff to Rampage for extra damage and stuff while we're in Fight for Your Life. I've never been a fan of Fight for Your Life skills because, you know, that involves being down, and I'd prefer to just be up on my character. But, you know, more power to that idea. It's fair. Our Technophile Comm giving +2 Fancy Mathematics. That's probably, honestly, the one we'll end up wearing, because it will give us that shield stuff going on. Emergency Protocol is the one that gives a shield back whenever it gets broken. Okay, that's a very potential idea. We could probably use that. No. Yep. We have a class mod that gives us extra tankiness. Okay. That is staying on the character probably for a while. We're gonna do one more run of this and hit level 17, and then to go walk into enemies and let them hit us. Right, and that should hit us to level 17. Let's go ahead and put a point into guarding shield. Unequip and re-equip the comm in case it's one of those skills. And then just watch my health bar or shield literally just not move at all. Interesting. Okay. I will say we have not encountered a gun mob or a high damage mob in a while, so we can't say this is OP yet. We don't know. There could be some enemies that just rock our world. We'll find out. I thought that was a resupplier and I was going to freak out because it shouldn't drop yet. Hey, a sheriff's badge. That can drop, but feels weird. Okay. Cool. I guess. Hey, you. Okay. Very nice. You know, yeah. I didn't really intend on going over to that area, but I was interested in getting something like this. We now have a commerce. Maybe it'll feel good. Sorry. Oh, we have a chubby. Wait, hold on. Okay, yeah, he's putting work in on our shield, so we found an enemy that can actually do stuff, which is probably going to be a lot of the late game enemies, honestly. I don't really know why I'm fighting this guy. He doesn't really drop a whole lot this early into a playthrough, other than just because beefy health bar enemy needs to go away. But sometimes that's enough of a reason. I do think I am going to like this character's shield utility existence. The fact that the character is making me really want to actually like take advantage of my shield's effect, it's pretty cool. I do appreciate it. It is really hard to let that trap get a last hit so that we can test out those shock orbs. I've been trying to do it every once in a while throughout combat, but it just never seems to want to happen. Yeah, because now it's too late. There's no enemies. And so we just have this useless little orb. Maybe in the bandit, like in the little batch up here. Alright, here comes the part where Lilith starts to just one-tap all of these guys before Death Trap gets to play the game. There we go. A nice even 400 damage from that? You know, it's better than nothing. We do also need to test our 5-year life skill. So we'll find a better place to do it. Actually, you know what? Right here. I didn't actually get to see if that was me or my shield. Yeah, I don't think that was worth it. Okay, now we know. Well, at least the reload speed is nice. Alright, Bad Maw. We're gonna get Death Trap distracting him. I want to shoot the orb so bad. And it didn't do anything. That's honestly not too much of a surprise, though. Alright. There we go. Alright. Warden. Oh, no. Interesting. Maybe we reload the fight. He could potentially have on a tanky shield or something. Might not be a bad idea. Oh yeah, it was totally just a tankier shield for sure. We're good. Just keep holding down the shoot button. No problem. Definitely not. Alright. And with Roland saved, we are done for the day. So, right off the bat, gotta go ahead and say, we are just going to use our utility damaging style shields for pretty much the entire run. While the character is really good with tanky big shields, for some reason the game is also super weird with that whole max shield capacity compared to what level it is, giving it the right amount of boost and stuff. So overall, just using a shield with actual stuff and things to it is just a better idea. Our damage feels pretty darn good. We aren't really spec'd into anything that's damage yet though, so I'm okay with this so far. We're going to put that point into shock charge, and then we are moving on to our anarchy tree next time. Go ahead and get smaller, lighter, faster. Maybe just nth degree. I don't feel like Death Trap's doing a whole lot right now, and we might have to like really build into Death Trap to make him more worthwhile. We can then get Anarchy, maybe get pre-shrunk Cyberpunk, since the overall gun damage and accuracy, it got more insane per level, right? I forgot. Okay. Maybe we don't get a ton of points in pre-shrunk up right away. Might not be a good idea, since it does scale per level that we level up. But you know, we'll figure it out when we get there, because I kind of forgot it did that. And then of course over here, just more shield would be good. Flurry of claws, because why not? That'd be funny. And then Rational Anarchist Discord. That's currently the plan. We'll see how it goes. Day 1.